a second? You're going to be my demonstrator. Come on. All right, so we have our very own leprechaun here with us today. All right, Larry, can I ask you a question? Why are you dressed like this?
Why are you dressed?
Why are you wearing this hat? St. Patrick's Day. And also tomorrow is especially meaningful for you and for Angela, right? Because your mother's name is Patricia. Yeah. So let's give Letty a round of applause. All right, so we celebrate St. Patrick's Day most often with funny hats and with pots of gold and rainbows. And yesterday at our house we had some fun decorating for St. Patrick's Day with green lights and other things. And it was a good time. And we had Green River soda. Anybody like Green River soda? Yes. Green River soda. And you know, the amazing thing about Green River soda is there's no artificial dyes or colorings. That's a joke. That's a joke, by the way. It's unnaturally green, but it sure is good. And it was nice to enjoy that. So I was thinking yesterday, I was looking up the name Platt online to see if there's any Irish origins in that name. And I found out that there are none. It's English origin, Welsh, British, but not Irish. Even some Jewish background in the name Platt. But not Irish. And so then I wrote my brother, who had one of those, genetic things done for ancestry, and I said, okay, brother, do we have any Irish blood? And he wrote back and he said, no. But then he said, however, you remember, and he's a European historian, okay, so he knows his stuff. He said, you'll remember that St. Patrick wasn't from Ireland, he was from Wales, and we are a quarter Welsh. So I said, aha! So I don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day because I'm Irish, but I can celebrate St. Patrick's Day because St. Patrick was Welsh, and I've got a little bit of Welsh in me, I guess. So there you go.
Any excuse will do.
Any excuse will do, that's right. And if you're not wearing green, Letter's going to pinch you later, so make sure you get your green out, okay? Now, we all actually, as Christians, can celebrate St. Patrick, and we've talked about this before, but it's a good reminder for us. St. Patrick wasn't all about leprechauns and rainbows and pots of gold, and certainly not about drunken parades and some of the other things that sometimes happen this time of the year. St. Patrick was a man of God, and he was kidnapped from Wales and taken to Ireland, and then he was able to escape, and he went back home, but God called him to go back to the very people who had kidnapped him and imprisoned him to bring the gospel of Jesus Christ to a very pagan land. And so St. Patrick was the one who brought Jesus to Ireland to share with the people there the good news of Jesus. And the legend of him driving out the snakes from Ireland is probably a picture of him through the gospel light driving out the darkness of paganism from Ireland. I'm reminded of what the Apostle Paul says in Ephesians 3, verse 1. He says, for this reason, I, Paul, a prisoner for Jesus Christ on behalf of you Gentiles. And he speaks of his calling as being one in chains to the gospel and a prisoner for Christ Jesus. And I wonder if that's a little bit how Patrick may have felt, that he was indebted to share the good news of Jesus with the lost, because Jesus had done everything for him. And just as Paul, a Hebrew of Hebrews, a Pharisee of Pharisees, was called to bring the gospel to Gentiles, so Patrick from Wales was called by God to bring the gospel to Ireland. So God, I believe, is calling us to bring the gospel, to be witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, to the ends of the earth. Last week we talked about how the people in our Jerusalem are those that are close to us. This was in our discussion after the service. The people in Jerusalem are those closest to us, and the people in Judea are those kind of around us, but maybe our neighbors and those that we don't know well, that we need to share Christ with, our coworkers and others. And those in Samaria may be a little bit further out, crossing cultural boundaries. And then finally, the ends of the earth, supporting missionaries, or maybe even being called ourselves to go in missions. Like our daughter Kylie is going to Spain this coming summer to represent Jesus Christ, and also to be and an ambassador not only of Christ, but an outreach of our church as she goes and ministers to the people in Spain this summer. So I want to encourage you to follow the example of St. Patrick, much different than some of the contemporary celebrations happening here in Chicago this weekend, but a wonderful example of spreading the good news of Jesus Christ.